Hello, everybody. It's Miss Dawn back with a colorful story that will brighten your day. Before we read our story, we are going to sing our hello song. Remember, if your name is Dawn, like mine is, you get one tap. If your name is Clarky, you get two taps. And if your name is Addison, you will get three taps. Now, I'm using my drum, but you can tap out your name by clapping, or you can tap out the song by using your knees, or you can even stomp your feet. Are we ready? Rum tum tum, I pat on my drum. Rum tum tum, I pat on my drum. My name is Dawn. Now we're going to do it again, and you can put your name. Rum tum tum, I pat on my drum. Rum tum tum, I pat on my drum. My name is. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you to everybody that did that. We are going to read today one of my favorite stories. And it's one of my favorite stories for many different reasons. One, it has the color purple in it, which is my favorite color. And two, it is just a fun story that you can actually draw along with it. It is Harold and the Purple Crayon by Crockett Johnson. I have here a blank sheet of paper and a purple marker. Now you can use a crayon or you can use a colored pencil. It doesn't have to be purple. It can be whatever your favorite color is. But you can draw along and make a pretty picture to maybe hang on a wall or on a refrigerator. It starts out with a straight line, so you can make a straight line, and then you can choose to draw a tree like Harold does. And Harold drew a boat, and so you can draw a boat. Yes, believe it or not, that is my boat. And then we are now ready for our story. This is Harold and the Purple Crayon. One evening, after thinking it over for some time, Harold decided to go for a walk in the moonlight. There wasn't any moon, and Harold needed a moon to go for a walk in the moonlight. And he needed something to walk on. He made a long straight path so he wouldn't get lost, and he set off on his walk, taking his big purple crayon with him. But he didn't seem to be getting anywhere on the long straight path, so he left the path for a shortcut across the field, and the moon went with him. The shortcut led right to where Harold thought a forest ought to be. He didn't want to get lost in the woods, so he made a very small forest with just one tree in it. And guess what? The tree turned out to be an apple tree. The apples would be very tasty, Harold thought, when they got red. Would you like to eat a purple apple? I don't think I would. So he put a frightening dragon under the tree to gather the apples. And it was a terribly frightening dragon. And it even frightened Harold, and he backed away, and his hand holding the crayon shook and shook. And suddenly he realized what was happening. But by then, Harold was over his head in the ocean. He came up thinking fast, and in no time he was climbing aboard a trim little boat. Now, his boat looked a lot better than my boat, didn't it? And he quickly set sail, and the moon sailed right along with him. And after he had sailed long enough, Harold made land without too much trouble, and he stepped ashore on the beach, wondering where he was. The sandy beach reminded Harold of a picnic, and the thought of picnics made him hungry. So he laid out a nice, simple picnic lunch What would you take on a picnic lunch? Well, Harold was thinking pie because there was nothing but pie. But there were all 9 kinds of pies that Harold liked. What kind of pie do you like? I like French silk pie, but let's see, peanut butter pie, that's a good one. What else? Chocolate pie, ooh, apple pie, pumpkin pie, mincemeat pie, cherry pie. Oh my goodness, there's all sorts of pies. When Harold finished this picnic, there was quite a lot of pie left, and he hated to see so much delicious pie go to waste. So Harold left a very hungry moose and a deserving porcupine to finish up. And off he went looking for a hill to climb so he could see where he was. Harold knew that the higher up he went, the farther he could see. So he decided to make the hill into a mountain. And he went high enough, he thought, and he could see the window of his bedroom. Oh, what do you think's going to happen? He was afraid and he felt he ought to be getting to bed. And he hoped he could see his bedroom window from the top of the mountain. But as he looked down over the other side, he slipped, and there wasn't any other side of the mountain, and he was falling into thin air. What would you do if you were falling into thin air? But luckily, he kept his wits about him along with his purple crayon, and he made a balloon and he grabbed onto it. And then he made a basket under the balloon big enough to stand in. And he had a fine view from the balloon, but he couldn't see his window. He couldn't even see his house. So he made a house with windows and he landed the balloon on the grass in the front yard. But none of the windows were his windows, and he tried to think where his window ought to be. He made some more windows and he made a big building full of windows. Do you see him up there drawing the windows? He's doing a good job. I bet you're doing a good job as well. In fact, he made a lot of buildings full of windows and he made a whole city full of windows. But none of the windows was his window and he couldn't think of where it might be. Where do you think it's at? Oh, that's a good answer. Well, he decided to ask a policeman, and the policeman pointed to the way Harold was going anyway. But Harold still politely thanked him. And as he walked along with the moon, wishing he was in his room and in his bed, then suddenly Harold remembered. What do you think he remembered? He remembered where his bedroom window was when there was a moon, and it was always right around the moon. And then Harold made his bed, and he got into it and he drew up the covers. And the purple crayon dropped on the floor, and Harold dropped off to sleep. Oh, thank you for going along with me while we read that story. We are going to sing our goodbye song. And actually, this is a new goodbye song, but I think you'll be able to catch on. Are we ready? Up, down, turn around. It touched the sky and touched the ground. Pat your belly, blink your eyes, blow a kiss, and say goodbye. Goodbye until next time.